Next year, Fox is looking to release 3 new X-Men movies, so we're going to stop and look at the first 10 X-Men movies and rank them from the worst to the best in under 7 minutes. Now, before I give you my ranking, be sure to tell me your ranking down below in the comment section. Tell me which ones you love, which ones you hate, and why. With that said, let's get started. Coming in last place is going to be X-Men Origins Wolverine. Now, Hugh Jackman gives it his all, but there's not much here to work with. The film is ill-conceived and unbelievably poorly executed. The special effects look abysmal, especially like Wolverine's claws. The characterizations are just bonkers. So they cast the merc with the mouth Deadpool perfectly with Ryan Reynolds, and then they sew his mouth shut. This is a movie that didn't know what it was trying to be, fails to be whatever it was trying to be, and just makes for a bad, cartoonish movie. Coming in 9th place is going to be X-Men The Last Stand. Overall, this movie just feels blah to me. There was a last-minute director swap, and you feel that in the end result, as there's not much style or flavor to what's happening. There's a lot of storylines happening. You got the cure for mutants, Magneto's rebellion, the Dark Phoenix saga kind of going on, but with so much stuff happening and so many main characters dying, it all just kind of happens without there being much emotional resonance to it, anything particularly exciting, and there's some pretty shoddy looking special effects in this one, so overall, just very meh. In 8th place is X-Men Apocalypse. There was so much potential in this movie, as the previous 2 movies in the First Class series were pretty great, and then this movie felt like it was trying to go epic, but kind of failed. The character design for Apocalypse feels very bland and Ivan Ooze-esque. Jennifer Lawrence feels like she's sleepwalking a little bit through the role, and the end result is just kind of underwhelming. With that said, Michael Fassbender has some incredible scenes in here, and the stuff with his family is phenomenal and some of the best in the X-Men franchise. The movie as a whole, not so much. In 7th place is The Wolverine. Once again, Hugh Jackman knocks it out of the park. He just absolutely commits to this role, and this movie shines a spotlight right on him in the study of Wolverine as he's processing the events of the original X-Men trilogy and the pain and the hurt that he's felt, as well as kind of revisiting some people that he knew decades and decades ago in World War II. And so there's a bunch of really great things in this movie, but it feels tonally uneven, as parts of it feel like very grounded, character-based, and then it gets so cartoonish and comic booky in the 3rd act that it feels a little bit off. But overall, there's some really great things in here and some not so great things. Number 6 is X-Men. Now, this movie is a great example of how to build a world, introduce some characters. I love the casting here, the use of Rogue to kind of walk us into this world of this school for the gifted. The plot line with Magneto trying to use Rogue to convert people into mutants, kind of a throwaway plot line, but the world building, casting, all magnificent. As we move into the top 5, this is pretty tough for me because these are all pretty great movies. It's like picking your favorite kid. No matter what I do, I know I'm about to step on some toes. Coming in at number 5 is X-Men Days of Future Past. This movie uses time travel to make it so we can see both of our X-Men classes come together and tell a very cool story. It builds off the events of the previous X-Men movie, First Class, and builds on the emotional weight of it and gives us a Charles Xavier that's in a very different place than we've ever seen him before. And this gives such emotional depth to the story. With the First Class movies, one of the things they did great is the world building and doing these period pieces that just make for a great ambiance and environment, and putting some great actors with James McAvoy, Jennifer Lawrence, Michael Fassbender in there just makes for an amazing film. At number 4 is X-Men First Class. This movie was such an enormous surprise to me because I expected it to be really bad based off the trailers, and then I went to go see it. It was a joy. Matthew Vaughn does such wonderful world building with this stylized 60s style, kind of influenced by the old Sean Connery James Bond movies. The building of the team and the friendship between Charles Xavier and Magneto is just so cool, and you care about these characters, and you can see how they would have this relationship that would last decades. Kevin Bacon makes for a menacing villain, and they tie it into historic events in a way that just makes it absolutely fascinating. I love this movie. It is such a cool one. Coming in third place is going to be X2, X-Men United. This movie takes the foundation laid in the previous movie and just builds the house on top of it. The themes are deeper, the relationships more complex and interesting, and the story has so many more layers to it. And all of this kicks off with maybe the best opening sequence of the entire franchise with Nightcrawler at the White House. All along the way, there's amazing character interactions with the X-Men having to partner up with Magneto to battle the evil government, and in that we learn about Wolverine's past. So many different wonderful things about this movie. Just makes for a great addition to the franchise. Our runner-up is gonna be Deadpool. Without question, this movie is easily the funniest and most fun movie in the entire franchise. Ryan Reynolds is perfectly cast as the Merc with the mouth. He's witty, funny, charming, can pull off the physicality, but really what makes it work is he has such great chemistry with everyone in the entire movie, whether he's interacting with villains you love to hate, or a girlfriend that's perfectly mismatched couple, his old lady roommate. It all comes together so wonderfully to make for a movie that just puts a smile on your face from beginning to end. But coming in first place is Logan. This is a movie that perfectly bookends the first 10 movies in the X-Men franchise by giving us a satisfactory and thoroughly enjoyable conclusion to the stories of Logan and Xavier. This might be the best I've ever seen Patrick Stewart. Hugh Jackman, of course, is amazing, but really it's those interactions, those emotions that work here, that the fact that it's a comic book movie is almost secondary to everything else, as this movie explores life, death, and our legacies, and this movie leaves its own legacy that is spectacular. So how about you? How would you rank these movies? Tell me down below in the comment section which one's the best, which one's the worst. And with that said, if you're new to my channel, please consider clicking that subscribe button. I do movie reviews, TV reviews, and ranking videos like the one you're watching right now. But I don't want to just talk about movies, I want to talk about movies with you. So join me in the comment section, let's have a lively discussion, and thank you so much for watching.